50 Cent's ex, Daphne Joy, is facing accusations of being Sean Diddy Combs' alleged sex worker. OnlyFans model was a sex worker involved in the rapper's alleged sex trafficking ring. She was reportedly one of 3 women he bragged about paying a monthly stipend for their sex work.
A male music producer, Rodney Lil Rod Jones Jr., has filed a lawsuit against Sean Diddy Combs alleging sexual assault, which is bringing to light more details about the activities of the music mogul. According to documents obtained by Fox News Digital, Jones, a producer on Combs' latest album, the Love album Off the Grid, claims that Combs boasted about financially supporting multiple women.
Video. And I seen that look in his face before. I seen that look in his face. You understand? No, I went through every step you supposed to go through when you got a problem, you got a situation, you got an issue with a man.
One of the women mentioned in the suite is Daphne Joy Cervantes Narvaez, also known as Daphne Joy, who is the former girlfriend of rapper Curtis 50 Cent Jackson.
The consequence, and I don't feel bad for him at all. Because people was trying to talk to him. People was trying to tell him.
Jones asserts that these women, including Joy, were allegedly compensated by Combs for sexual services. Diddy and Joy have been seen together publicly, with Combs following Joy on Instagram. However, Joy vehemently denies these allegations, labeling them as false and damaging to her character.
Think that he could see himself in a cage. I don't think he could see himself behind those bars.
Joy and 50 Cent were previously in a relationship during which they had a son named Sire in 2012. In 2013, 50 Cent faced charges related to domestic violence and property damage involving Joy, to which he pleaded not guilty. Following legal proceedings, he was sentenced to 3 years. Jones recently updated his lawsuit on March 25 after initially filing it in February in New York's federal court. This action comes shortly after Diddy settled another lawsuit with his ex-girlfriend Cassie, who accused him of rape. In response to Jones's claims, Diddy's lawyer, Sean Hawley, dismissed them as baseless, asserting that they are fabricated and aimed at seeking financial gain. Despite providing evidence refuting the allegations, attempts to communicate with Jones's attorney, Tyrone Blackburn, have reportedly been unsuccessful. The legal team representing Combs remains steadfast in addressing these accusations. And 50 Cent, who has been critical of the Bad Boy founder throughout his ongoing legal woes, seemingly addressed the allegations surrounding Joy, writing to Instagram, "I didn't know you was a sex worker, you little sex worker, lol. Yo, this is a movie." Curtis 50 Cent Jackson has denied a slew of shocking allegations leveled against him by his ex-girlfriend Daphne Joy, including claims he raped her and kept her from seeing their son. The bombshell allegations came just after Jackson made a derogatory post about Joy on Wednesday night, mocking her after she was accused of being a sex worker in a lawsuit filed against Sean Diddy Combs by the music producer Rodney Jones. Joy did not take kindly to that post, responding with one of her own to accuse Jackson of raping and physically abusing her, allegedly after he filed paperwork to gain sole custody of their son, Sire, who is 12. "Let's put the real focus on your true evil actions of raping me and physically abusing me," she posted to Instagram on Thursday. "You are no longer my oppressor, and my God will handle you from this point on. I am tired of upholding and protecting an image to our son that you have never even earned," she wrote, suggesting his post on Wednesday was the final straw. Jackson vehemently denied the allegations in a statement to Page 6, claiming that Joy is using them to leverage herself into taking custody of their son. The disturbing allegations in the sworn pleadings recently filed in a court case related to Daphne Joy, the mother of my 12-year-old child, has required me to take all necessary legal actions to protect my son, Sire, he said, according to Page 6. The most recent false and baseless accusations by Daphne Joy are clearly in response to my decision to seek sole custody of my son. My son, Sire, is my main priority, and keeping him in a safe environment is my only focus at this time. Allegations aside, Jackson's reps have confirmed he's making a documentary about the many allegations against Diddy. He has pledged to donate the earnings from his projects to the victims of Diddy's alleged sexual assault. Shortly after posting about his ex, Jackson posted another picture on Instagram of his television playing a Fox News segment about Jones's lawsuit. The screen showed an excerpt of Jones's civil complaint, alleging that Diddy had secret cameras placed all over his home. "Semh, this is gonna be so good. What do you want to bet I get these tapes? I'll pay top dollar for them," he wrote in the caption. Sean Diddy Combs and 50 Cent both started out in the rap game around the same time, and they've been beefing pretty much ever since. Their feud, which goes back to the early 2000s, hit the headlines again almost 20 years later. In March 2024, Homeland Security raided 2 of Diddy's homes in Los Angeles and Miami as part of a federal sex trafficking investigation. Diddy hasn't said much about the accusations against him, but 50 Cent has been vocal in condemning him. Wait till you see this documentary drop. GLG Green Light Gang, you know the vibes, 50 Cent posted on X, announcing his upcoming project titled Diddy Do It. It's a wordplay on Diddy's name and the question, did he do it? After Jones' lawsuit hit the news, 50 Cent shared a screenshot of a news report on Instagram, writing, "This is gonna be wild. Anyone want to bet I'll get my hands on those tapes? I'll pay a good price for them. You been to Diddy's parties? I stay away from them." Diddy, once known as Puff Daddy, is famous for his lavish parties, but 50 Cent insists he's never been interested in attending. "I steer clear of those puffy parties," 50 Cent joked during a concert in October 2023, according to social media footage. "He'll hug you from the front and back simultaneously? What's that about? Look, if that's your thing, that's cool. To each their own. But I'm telling you, that's not my scene. It's just awkward. I feel like I belong in the ladies' room when stuff like that's going down." Back in 2006, the tension between the two rappers started when 50 Cent dropped his track, The Bomb, which seemed to suggest that Diddy knew something about the murder of Notorious B.I.G. In the song, 50 Cent raps, "Who shot Biggie Smalls? We don't get him. They gonna kill us all. Man, Puffy know who hit that nay." But 50 Cent never had any solid evidence that Diddy was involved in the murder. Diddy, on his part, has repeatedly denied having any knowledge about it. Moving forward to 2014, their ongoing feud reached new heights when they both got involved in endorsing different vodka brands. Diddy had a stake in Ciroc since 2007, way before 50 Cent became the face of Effin' Vodka, a Dutch brand. Listen, Puff's stuff isn't even vodka. It's made from grapes and just says made with vodka. You know what I'm saying? 50 Cent later explained during a 2018 interview on the Drink Champs podcast. Effin', on the other hand, is made from wheat in Holland and distilled 5 times, so it has way less sugar. It's the better choice. And then, when you wake up with a headache after downing a whole bottle of Ciroc, I told you I was smarter. In 2018, 50 Cent kept on saying that Diddy acts a bit fruity over the years. He remembered a time on the Drink Champs show when he said, when he says things, he doesn't even know what he's saying is, like, fruity. He says to Fabulous, "Me and you, we need to party." What is you talking about? When people say that to me, I get a little uncomfortable. He went on. He said something to me a long time ago, at Chris Lighty's wedding. He told me he'd take me shopping. I looked at him like, "What did you just say? Let me move, man, before I do something. You gonna make me mess up the wedding?" No, that's something a guy says to a girl. Later in the same year, Diddy denied all the fuss about their feud. "I don't have no beef with Fif. He loves me," Diddy said on The Breakfast Club. "Y'all can't see that he loves me? You really think that's hate? You know he loves me." In 2022, things got heated again. When Diddy performed at the iHeartRadio Music Festival in September, 50 Cent called out his ex, Daphne Joy, who was there with their son, Sire. Joy wasn't happy with 50 Cent's public call-out. "Please stop doing this to me," she wrote in a now-deleted Instagram comment. "I never bother you, and I'm an outstanding mother to our son. Can we please just focus on that? Please." In 2023, Diddy's ex-girlfriend Cassie took legal action against him in November. She said she'd been sexually assaulted and physically abused by him for 10 years. Diddy denied her claims, but they settled the day after she filed the lawsuit. After Cassie's case, others also accused Diddy of similar things. He denied all of it before stepping down as chairman of Revolt, his company. During this time, 50 Cent showed interest in taking over Revolt. "I'll buy that from you, Playboy, for the low because you know Cadillac and AT&T gonna pull out," 50 Cent wrote on X. "I'll give you a few dollars for it now. Sell it to me. Then we can be friends. I'm serious, call my phone." Moving on to 2024, it was confirmed in March that Homeland Security raided 2 of Diddy's homes as part of a federal sex trafficking investigation. Yesterday, there was a gross overuse of military-level force as search warrants were executed at Mr. Combs' residences, Diddy's lawyer Aaron Dyer told us, rejecting the allegations. There is no excuse for the excessive show of force and hostility exhibited by authorities or the way his children and employees were treated. Diddy wasn't at home during the raids and hasn't been formally charged or arrested yet. This investigation followed after Jones accused Diddy of sex trafficking in his lawsuit. Diddy denied these claims. Then, 50 Cent announced he's making a documentary about Diddy and the accusations surrounding him. According to NBC News, Sean Diddy Combs is facing a lot of lawsuits lately and is now under federal investigation. This week, federal agents searched Diddy's properties and seized his phones at an airport as part of a warrant from the U.S. District Court for the Southern District of New York. They found guns during the searches. Since November, Diddy has been hit with 5 lawsuits in New York. They accuse him of sexual assault, sexual trafficking, and other crimes. Diddy denies all the accusations, calling them sickening. Sources say at least 4 people have been interviewed about allegations of sex trafficking, sexual assault, and involvement in illegal drugs and firearms. Cassie, Diddy's ex-girlfriend, filed a lawsuit in November, accusing him of sexually and physically abusing her during their relationship. She filed under New York State's Adult Survivors Act, which gives adult victims of sexual violence a 1-year window to file claims, no matter the usual time limits. Cassie said Diddy raped her, beat her, and controlled her life. She also accused him of forcing her to have sex with other men while he watched. Diddy strongly denied Cassie's claims, and they settled the case a day after it was filed. Another woman, Joey Dickerson-Neal, said Cassie's lawsuit inspired her to file a suit against Diddy. She said Diddy drugged and sexually assaulted her in 1991 when she was a student. Diddy denied her allegations. On the last day allowed by the Adult Survivors Act, Liza Gardner filed a lawsuit claiming Diddy sexually assaulted her when she was 16. She said it happened in either 1990 or 1991 after meeting Diddy and another singer at an event. Later in December, a woman identified only as Jane Doe filed a lawsuit claiming that she was gang raped and trafficked by Sean Diddy Combs and Harve Pierre, who used to be the president of Combs' record label. The woman said this happened in 2003, when she was just 17 and Combs was 34. According to the lawsuit, she met Combs and Pierre at a lounge in Detroit, where Pierre smoked crack cocaine and forced her to perform oral sex on him. Combs then persuaded her to fly with them on a private jet to New York City. Once they arrived in New York, the lawsuit alleges that the 3 men gave her a lot of drugs and alcohol at a studio. When she was too intoxicated to consent, they took turns raping her in a bathroom. Afterward, the suit claims, they left her on the bathroom floor and sent her back to Michigan. Combs denied the accusations, and Pierre dismissed the lawsuit as a made-up story. In February, a guy named Rodney Lil Rod Jones claimed in a lawsuit that Sean Diddy Combs and his crew were up to some serious illegal stuff. Jones was working as a producer on Diddy's latest album, but he also hung out and traveled with him from September 2022 to November 2023. In his lawsuit, he said that during that time, Diddy sexually harassed him, pressured him into sexual acts, made him get sex workers for him, and saw Diddy giving drugged drinks to people at parties. According to the lawsuit, Diddy made Jones record him all the time, which led to Jones getting lots of footage showing Diddy and his crew doing illegal things. The suit even had screenshots of video clips from parties with underage girls and sex workers. Jones said Diddy was trying to make him get into a sexual relationship with him. He claimed that Diddy sexually harassed and assaulted him while he was staying at Diddy's places in Florida, Los Angeles, and New York, and even on a yacht in the U.S. Virgin Islands. Jones also said he and another guy, Brendan Paul, were asked to carry drugs and guns for Diddy. In later filings, Jones accused Diddy and his son of being involved in a shooting at a Los Angeles recording studio in 2022, which both of them denied. Diddy's lawyer said Jones was just making up stories to get attention. On March 25th, agents from Homeland Security Investigations went to Sean Diddy Combs' homes in Los Angeles and Miami. According to 3 sources who know about it, they found firearms at his places, but we don't have more details about that. When the raids happened, Combs was heading to the Bahamas for a planned trip. But before he could leave, he was stopped at a Miami airport, and officials took away his cell phones. One of Combs' lawyers, Dyer, made a statement after the raids. He said that Combs wasn't held by the authorities but talked to them and helped them. He called the raids an ambush and said people were too quick to judge based on baseless accusations from lawsuits. There's been no proof of wrongdoing with any of these claims, Dyer said. Mr. Combs is innocent, and he's going to keep fighting every day to clear his name. At the same time, Combs was stopped at the airport. A guy named Brendan Paul, who is said to be connected to Combs, got arrested at the Miami Opa-locka Executive Airport. A source from law enforcement confirmed Paul works with Combs, but we're not sure if his arrest is linked to the raids. In the lawsuit by Jones, Paul is described as someone who gets and moves drugs and guns for Combs. It's claimed that Combs made Paul and others he paid carry black pouches filled with drugs like ecstasy, cocaine, ketamine, marijuana, and mushrooms. A police report from Miami-Dade showed that Paul was charged with having suspected cocaine and what seemed to be marijuana candy. Records from court say he got out of custody the next day after posting bail. At the time of Paul's arrest, agents from Homeland Security and Customs officers found illegal items in Paul's travel bags, according to the report. Paul's lawyer, Brian Bieber, said to NBC News, "We're not going to discuss this case in the media. All matters will be handled in court." When an NBC News reporter called a number linked to Paul, a woman who answered hung up the phone. Making the Band was a big deal in pop culture. It even got spoofed on Chappelle's show with Dave Chappelle playing Diddy. The sketch was funny, but it wasn't too far from the truth. One standout moment from Making the Band 2 was when Diddy told Da Band members to walk over 5 miles to get him cheesecake from Junior's. They couldn't use any transportation, just had to walk. Diddy said it wasn't about being mean, but about a bigger picture in the music world. However, making artists walk miles for food seemed pretty extreme. Despite all the tough challenges Diddy put them through, Da Band broke up in the end. The cheesecake incident was just one of many weird tasks Diddy gave them. In Making the Band 4, he had the guys in his R&B group do a sing-off, which made everyone uncomfortable. In Making the Band 3, Diddy formed the multicultural girl group Danity Kane. Years later, members Aubrey O'Day, Shannon Bex, and Don Richard reflected on their time on the show. Don said it felt like Diddy was trying to show off his power and control over their lives. Aubrey often clashed with Diddy, and she felt he didn't like being challenged, especially by women. She said Diddy played dirty, even when they were just 17. Years after the show, former Da Band members spoke out about their experiences. Freddie P talked about the trauma he faced during and after the show. He felt like the show was designed for them to fail. Another member, Babs Bunny, shared a more neutral perspective, saying it was a mix of dreams and nightmares. In 2020, Diddy announced he'd bring back Making the Band with his sons. Many people didn't like the idea, and Diddy responded on Instagram, telling them to hustle harder or get out of the way. Despite the announcements, Making the Band hasn't returned. With the controversy around Diddy, it's doubtful it ever will. Combs co-promoted a celebrity basketball game and concert at City College of New York, where a tragedy occurred. 9 people died, and 29 were injured because the event drew more people than the venue could safely hold. Although the gym's capacity was around 2,730, as many as 5,000 people showed up, overwhelming the security. When organizers stopped letting people in and closed the doors, chaos broke out. People outside forced their way in, causing a stampede. A report by then New York City Mayor David Dinkins' administration blamed Combs for hiring inadequate security. He settled multiple lawsuits from the families of those who died. Combs and Marion Suge Knight, co-founder of Death Row Records, were once friends. However, their relationship soured due to a violent rivalry between their record labels. The tension escalated after Jake Robles, a security guard and friend of Knight's, was killed outside an Atlanta nightclub during an altercation with Combs' associates. Robles died weeks later in the hospital. Combs denied involvement, but Knight held him responsible. In 1998, Combs was involved in an incident where he attacked music executive Steve Stout. This happened after Stout mistakenly aired a version of a music video featuring Combs and Nas that included a controversial scene of Combs being depicted as Jesus Christ on the cross. Combs was upset and confronted Stout in his office, resulting in a physical altercation where Stout claimed to have suffered injuries. Combs apologized and attended an anger management class as part of his legal consequences. In late December 1999, Combs and his bad boy artist Jamal Shine Barrow were at Club New York for a party. A dispute broke out when Combs knocked a drink out of Matthew Scar Allen's hands. This led to an argument between Allen and Combs, and someone even threw money at Combs. Allen threatened Shine's life during the altercation. Prosecutors claim that in the chaos, all three men pulled out guns, and Shine fired 3 shots in the crowded club, injuring 3 people. When Combs was arrested, 2 9mm guns were found in his car. He faced 4 weapons charges and was accused of bribing his driver to take responsibility for the guns. Despite a witness testifying that both Shine and Combs fired shots, Combs was acquitted of all charges, while Shine was found guilty of 5 charges and sentenced to 10 years in prison. In 2013, Combs was reportedly involved in an altercation with J. Cole at a MTV VMAs afterparty. According to sources, a visibly intoxicated Combs confronted Kendrick Lamar over his verse on Big Sean's Control, where Lamar boasted about being the king of New York. Combs allegedly attempted to pour a drink on Lamar before J. Cole intervened, leading to a scuffle between Cole and Combs. However, the New York Post reported a different version, stating that the altercation occurred because J. Cole was saying inappropriate things to Sean Combs and his girlfriend, Cassie. Witnesses described it as a verbal confrontation with some pushing and shoving, but no punches thrown. Both Combs and Cole denied any physical altercation, although Cole referenced the incident in a later song. In December 2014, there were reports that Combs got into an altercation with Drake outside Live nightclub during DJ Khaled's event. It was allegedly over the rights to a beat that eventually became Drake's song 0 to 100. Witnesses claimed there was an argument and then physical confrontation, with Combs reportedly telling Drake, "You will not disrespect me." However, Combs denied punching Drake, stating on the Breakfast Club radio show that, "I didn't do nothing to Drake, Drake is my friend." In June 2015, Combs was involved in an incident with then UCLA assistant football coach Sal Alosi. TMZ reported that Alosi scolded Combs' son, Justin Combs, during a UCLA practice, treating him like any other player. Later, Combs and his son went to Alosi's office, where an argument ensued, and Combs allegedly grabbed Alosi. There were conflicting reports, with one claiming Combs was forcibly removed from the office and then swung a kettlebell at an intern. A spokesperson for Combs Enterprises stated, "The various accounts of the event and charges that are being reported are wholly inaccurate. What we can say now is that any actions taken by Mr. Combs were solely defensive in nature to protect himself and his son." The LA District Attorney decided not to file assault charges against Combs. In 2019, Gina Huyn, who used to date Combs, shared with blogger Tasha K that during their 5-year relationship, Combs physically hurt her. She recounted an incident where he stomped on her stomach, leaving her breathless, and another where he punched her in the back of her head. She revealed, "He was mentally, emotionally, and physically abusing me. He would always compare me to Cassie and tell me that I'm the bad one, she's a good one." She also mentioned that she felt like everyone in Combs' circle allowed the abuse to happen. On December 7th, Tiffany Red, a Grammy-winning singer-songwriter who has worked with artists like Zendaya, Joe Jonas, and Tamar Braxton, wrote an open letter to Combs in Rolling Stone, supporting Cassie's claims. "I'm one of the friends mentioned in her lawsuit, specifically from the night of her 29th birthday, as detailed in the section labeled, 'Mr. Combs forces Ms. Ventura into sex trafficking.' she wrote. Red described her initial encounters with Combs and her professional connection with Cassie as a songwriter. She recounted a party where she claimed Combs separated Cassie from her friends. Upon their return, Red noted that both Cassie and Combs seemed intoxicated, and Combs verbally abused them, labeling Red as an emotional singing bitch before leaving. Red further disclosed, "She later told me you made her have a freak-off," which Cassie described in her lawsuit as an arrangement where you would make her perform sexual acts with male sex workers. That night, she expressed deep disturbance at the situation, stating, "The reason you called me emotional singing bitch was because you were listening to new songs we wrote during the freak-off that had begun after you came to get her earlier that night. I am disturbed to my core by this." Red also mentioned witnessing instances where Combs appeared verbally abusive to Cassie and revealed that she too had suffered trauma due to Combs's alleged actions. Suge Knight, a prominent figure in the music industry, recently made headlines by issuing a serious warning to his longtime rival, P. Diddy, suggesting that Diddy's life might be in danger. This warning came in the aftermath of federal agents conducting raids on Diddy's residences in both Florida and California. The warning was reportedly captured in a clip from Knight's podcast, Collect Call, which he hosts from a California prison, where he is currently serving a 28-year sentence for voluntary manslaughter. In this clip, Knight begins by offering prayers for Diddy's children, but then swiftly transitions into criticizing the hip-hop mogul for allegedly tarnishing the image of the hip-hop culture. Knight allegedly implies that Diddy might be privy to certain undisclosed information that could potentially put his life at risk. In a chilling tone, Knight warns Diddy that they gonna get you if they can, leaving a foreboding message hanging in the air. Furthermore, Knight urges Diddy to consider surrendering himself to authorities, drawing from his own personal experience of turning himself in after being involved in a hit-and-run incident back in 2015. He emphasizes the importance of facing consequences and making difficult decisions when confronted with challenging circumstances. In a somewhat lighter moment, Knight offers what he terms as real advice for surviving in a prison environment, including practical tips such as choosing between standing up or sitting down while using the restroom. Additionally, he cautions Diddy against adopting the nickname Brother Love if he ever finds himself incarcerated, hinting at potential repercussions within the prison system. Knight briefly touches upon the origins of his long-standing feud with Diddy, referencing the tragic death of his friend Big Jake during a party in Atlanta in 1995 as a pivotal moment that ignited decades of animosity between them. The feud is also rooted in the infamous East Coast versus West Coast rap rivalry of the 1990s, with Knight's Death Row Records and Diddy's Bad Boy Records positioned as central players in the ongoing conflict. The federal raids on Diddy's properties are part of a broader investigation into sex trafficking allegations against the embattled music mogul. Video footage from the raid at Diddy's opulent $40 million California estate depicts his sons, Justin and Christian, being questioned by law enforcement officials as agents comb through the property, highlighting the gravity of the situation at hand. That's all for the video, folks. Thanks for watching.